Hey friends, you're watching a weekly Wednesday What's Up, the section of my channel where I tell you everything about my life in one week. I have not been putting out some videos. Well, I have been putting out videos almost every goddamn day, but I have not been doing the vlogging thing for you guys for quite some time because it is the end game now. But hopefully you've been enjoying the other videos that I've been supplying for you, the other vlogging content with the end game and all that other stuff. The place is a goddamn mess if you take a look around. I was renewing my passport. I was renewing my visa. I couldn't find my passport to renew my visa, and it just became a nightmare. And I'm just backed the fuck up with hundreds of, oh, not hundreds, but a handful of videos that need to be out, like for Patreon and videos for YouTube. It's kind of it's a little nutty. I'm not gonna lie. It's a little draining. So I'm just trying to catch up. It's actually Golden Week right now in Japan. So it's holiday time. I've had 2 days off. Some people have 10 days off. Not us. Not us. But it's okay. I got basically, yeah, just 2 extra days off, and I decided to take another day off on Monday because it's another episode of Game of Thrones, and I might see Endgame again. So it's fine. I mean, I kind of wish I could take more days off, but if I want, I had that option, but I also should focus on making money, so that's another issue because I'm freelance at my job. Our contract, I wouldn't have gotten paid for those days off anyway, so um, it's in my best interest just to work, though I'm not gonna lie, like between Endgame and my regular work and everything that's going on, 10 days of just doing nothing would have been really good. Just doing nothing, it would, or at least one thing out of the way. Like, there's always a constant juggle and balance between work, my real life work, and then the YouTube work that I gotta put in. And I was just talking to Imon Snow about, she's getting a lot of slack because she keeps on getting copyright strikes for anime, and people don't want to understand, or people don't just want her to basically bend over backwards. Sorry, that was sexist. But actually, no, it's not, because if I say that, I would also make a booty sex joke if it was a guy. Anyways, they're trying to get her to bend over backwards and just keep on putting stuff out, you know, essentially for free, and that shit will burn you out like big time. And I was just talking to her about that. It's like the hardest thing is actually getting people to understand as to why you can't just keep on coming here, setting up, shooting stuff, and uploading shit for free. um it's one thing if AdSense can actually have some sort of callback to you. Like, you can get paid through AdSense, advertising, things like that. But if you're just putting it up, like I always say, which is kind of funny. It's a kind of, it sounds like a kind of irritated line, but I'm always saying, this ain't a fucking charity. Like, uh, there's some videos you can, and for me, particularly for the DC stuff, that's a charity. Like, I'm essentially uploading that shit, and the only person that's getting paid off those videos is Warner Brothers. And I continue to do that mainly because I'm a fan of those said shows that I do. The moment I stop becoming a fan, that's when I stop doing it. I don't care. Like, that's if I was getting paid, making money or not. But certainly, if there was some sort of um, AdSense, if you're getting paid off the AdSense, there's more incentive to stay and keep doing videos. But the only reason I do things like My Hero Academia and The Flash or Arrow is, essentially, uh, it's not even for free, but, well, free for me, but actually, no, actually, it's costing me money. Like, paying editors to do these videos, It actually cost me a lot of money, but the only reason I continue to do them is because I am a fan of those shows at this moment in time, and that's where we are in line with Shingeki no Kyojin. Attack on Titan just started up again, and last season, or the first half of this season, which was, they might as well just call it last season, wasn't really feeling it as much as I used to, and it doesn't have that same drive, and I think that drive was replaced by My Hero Academia. But this latest episode I watched, and it actually looks like it's looks like it's going to be getting really good. The bigger problem is I really do need to look back, and I think I actually did get a strike last season for Attack on Titan. I'm not sure. I think that was one that I got. It was either that one or My Hero Academia. Uh, I can't remember, but I remember like one. I got a strike from somebody. That's why Promised Neverland is indeed and will always be a Patreon exclusive because of the fact that more than one person, and these are fans, told me don't even try to upload it to YouTube because you will get a strike. So from what I'm hearing, Attack on Titan is happening the same way. That's just not something that's worth risking. And then at the problem for me right now where we stand is it's it I wish I could show you guys day in and day out of my particular schedule, what I do even on my days off, my particular shooting schedule, recordings, even without me doing editing by hand. And like I would fucking lose it at this point if somebody was trying to say, like, if somebody wanted to step to me and say, well, you know, reacting isn't that hard, it's not really a job, like I would fucking lose my mind if somebody came to me with that shit, in terms of if I was still doing editing. If I were doing editing for all of these shows and cranking this shit out, I would lose, because I was losing my mind like what, a year ago when I had to juggle the CW videos, the anime videos, the Game of Thrones videos, doing all those videos, editing all that. I remember doing that shit on my lunch break and shit and being so tired, but there was a sense of accomplishment when you would finally upload it. But then, you know, somebody would be like, why'd you cut this out? Why did you cut that out? I'm like, you gotta compress it down. And it would just become really tiring, like the next day when WB would be like, bloop, claimed. Like, what the fuck did I just waste the last 3 hours on, right? So that's kind of that's one of the things is where the passion starts to drain, and one of the reasons why I haven't edited any of my reaction videos for almost a year now, a little bit more. Whenever the CW shows, the last season, whenever last season started up, so almost about a year, so about 8 months or so, because it was just no point for me to like sacrifice that time anymore if there was nothing coming back. It doesn't really matter how many subscribers you gain, because it's actually a double-edged sword in terms of people subscribing, because then they start expecting things to always be like that. And that's why we will be making some dramatic changes, I'm sure, when Arrow starts up again next season for its final season. We will have to make a lot of big changes because YouTube is also making us make those changes. But it's also a good opportunity to really start a clean slate and focus on, you know, what should make you happy. And you should personally, for me, I feel like you should wake up wanting to actually make videos, and you should wake up being excited, and you should actually feel a little bit nervous when you launch those videos every day. Like when you hit the publish button and you want to read what people are saying. And that's personally for me, I always try to treat it as a hobby, even though it is a business, but I try to treat it as a hobby at the same time. And while I still have some of that feeling, the intensity for actually creating videos has depleted a lot. Mainly because it has a lot to do with the copyright claims. Is like The Sonic the Hedgehog trailer. I just spent 20 minutes trying to find a particular Chaos Emerald song and a particular intro so I could get something pretty clean in there. And I swear, fucking Paramount's probably gonna claim that shit like a few minutes after it goes up. But there's nothing you can do about that. And back in the day, I used to, and I've mentioned this before. I used to feel like at least there will be people out there that will appreciate the small attentions to details in terms of editing and things like that. And I think there are some people out there, but that it doesn't really change. It doesn't really change the subscriber base so much, and at the same time, it doesn't really change the revenue either. And that goes back to when I used to do a lot of Q&A from the fans, question of the video with the Walking Dead, all that shit took a lot of extra time to do, but it seemed like it really didn't really help differentiate me from the rest of the quote unquote, quote unquote reaction type videos. And at some point when everything started getting claimed, I had to start thinking to myself, why am I doing so much work if people aren't going to see any sort of difference? They'll just lump me in or lump the videos in the channel in as just a basic reaction channel. And that's why a lot of that, I had to drop a lot of that extra additive stuff, because it really wasn't panning out in terms of trying to differentiate yourself as a very unique, so to speak. So I don't know. It's just that was kind of, I was reading a lot of comments on Imon's channel, explaining about strikes and explaining they've worked really hard for 3 years to get where they're at, and people were really taking that, like, weren't taking that seriously. They were like, work hard, like, yeah, like, yeah. Anyways, I didn't want to actually go on off on a tangent about that shit, but it was just bothering me a little bit today to see that people still think like those that are doing 2-minute, 3-minute trailers reactions and those that are actually doing TV show reactions are one and the same, and it's completely not. You would think, well, I guess technically it's my fault for not finishing the second half of that Blind Wave interview, because truth be told, even after I get that second part of that Blind Wave interview up, people are explaining just how much grind they put into those videos. Truth be told, I think the only people that will really be accredited for that work, that type of work, is Blind Wave. People won't realize that it's not just Blind Wave doing that kind of style, that format, especially when it comes to TV shows, especially when it comes to anime. They're just one of the more better known people that do that. And, there are way smaller channels and people like myself or Imon or whoever who have private lives, who have families to take care of, that they got to still juggle this. Not everybody was able to be as blessed as Blind Wave in terms of creating like a network where they can put out videos that are, essentially get claimed, but they're still getting people to tune in. So it all works out for them, and they're making 50 grand on Patreon. So, you split that even 5 ways, or how many people are in there? 6 people plus editor. They're still doing very, very well, so that's why they can do a lot of lost leader type shows. But, other people, it's fairly demanding. I wish more people would understand that. I wish more people would see that. But it is what it is. Always around that time when the visa issues come up, I really got to start thinking of what I'm doing. And it's April, so it's a new year. It's a new era, actually, in Japan, REIWA, and jobs are changing, positions are changing, and I always have to decide whether or not, is this YouTube work really worth it in the long run, or should I be focusing on something that is going to pay off in the future in terms of healthcare, retirement, pension. You know, these are some realistic, real life things some of us have to think about. Where if you don't think about it, you know, you're gonna turn around and be like, one day you're gonna look up and be like, well, fuck, I'm already X years old, and this idea of trying to live off of YouTube is jeopardizing. You know, you gotta really keep that in mind. There's always got to be an end game. You always have to be prepared for the end game and something to settle on, right? So there's someone I always think about a lot, and so a channel I watch, Gamer from Mars, and he always posts up videos called like dead channels, and it's actually pretty interesting, pretty unique to see because it's only a time span of 2 to 3 years. People who were making mad money or who were mad famous, internet famous, like they're unheard of today. That shit is fucking crazy to see that. And I think every content creator needs to think about that as time goes by. Um, what's your end game, right? There you go. We're gonna end it on that, guys. What's your end game? Talk to you guys next time. Like, share, subscribe. I might upload I did a weekly Wednesday What's Up about 2 weeks ago, I think. And I actually never had the time to upload it. I might do that for you guys later, but I want to lay down. My back is pain. I want to continue playing The Legend of Zelda tonight. Enjoy my holiday a little bit more, and I will talk to you next time. Like, share, subscribe, and I will let you guys know what's up. Black Cells next week. Peace, y'all.